What's up, guys? SeaOtterGamer here, back with some more Realm of the Mad God Exalt. We're gonna hop in here. We'll go to Flare, why not? All right, first off, before we get started, I just wanted to give everyone so much thanks for all the amazing comments, feedback, support, thumbs up, all sorts of stuff that you guys have been having for this series so far. It has been absolutely amazing. I know a lot of YouTubers say that kind of stuff, but I really mean it. Like, I've had so much support for this series in the past 2 weeks since I started it, and I just wanted to give you guys a quick thank you for all of that. In the last video, I asked you guys kind of what you wanted to see from Realm of the Mad God, and I got a lot of really great answers. I'm gonna read one of my favorite ones here, actually, while we're getting started here. This one comes from Macon Ariel. I probably mispronounced that. If so, I do apologize. I'm really bad at names and stuff. And Macon said, about this series, I suggested you some playthroughs at the Godlands, potion drops, dungeon runs, and event quests, i.e. the ghost ship, cube god, pet leveling, etc. Pet leveling is also interesting, so we know where your pet is at. So I'm trying to like read it and not die at the same time. That's why we're still here at the beach. I'm here mostly for gameplay, seeing progress and drops, maxing the character. What else? Also, your commentary is interesting. I'm an engineering student, so your talks are interesting to know. Hope this helps. That there is exactly what I was looking for. So it definitely did help. I appreciate it. A few things on that. Let's go ahead. We're going to teleport over here to the Godlands. Hopefully don't die. All right. Thank you. At least not die immediately, right? The first thing was I was asking, you know, let's see. I feel like I'm just asking to be killed here. Let's go ahead and heal up real quick and hopefully not die. I was asking, you know, kind of where I should go as far as like, you know, like should I do Godland stuff or whatnot? So he answered that, or she, actually, I'm not quite sure, answered that one. But the other thing I wanted to know too is like what kind of gameplay and commentary you like. And there's basically three different, I'd say, YouTube gamer styles. The first one is the person who's just like really good at the game. Like, let's say Shroud or something, right? Like Shroud's really good at playing and people watch him because he's just really good at the game, right? The other style is the person who is just super entertaining, right? And the third one I'd say is like people who do like tutorials and that kind of stuff, which I wouldn't necessarily lump in with the first two, although they could overlap as well. And I always tried to be the first style, right? I always tried to be the person who is like just really good at the game. I think maybe I'm getting old or whatnot, but that's just not, I'm just not very good at gaming, at least like I used to be, right? So I think maybe, I think they're right. Maybe I just need to all in on the trying to be as entertaining as possible. Ooh. I don't know what happened there. I think I recentered my screen. Let's see. What was the button for that? X. Okay. And just try and be as entertaining as I can, knowing that I'm probably not going to be as good as probably most of the people who watch my channel at this game, you know? But you know, that's okay, you know? So that was the first thing I wanted to talk a little bit about. The second thing too, this person here is in engineering school, which I think is freaking fantastic. We're gonna go into this thing because I want to, honestly. I feel like Snake Pits would be a good place to start here. All right, we're gonna follow this guy here. This way? No. Let's see, you damaged the walls, right? Here we go. Here's a breakable wall. All right, it's been a little while, guys. I apologize. So yeah. I think that's fantastic. Obviously, I'm biased here, right? Because of my profession. I'm a mechanical engineer. I'm a professional engineer through my state, which is actually something I've been wanting to talk a little bit about on video. I think this is just like the perfect opportunity for it. So I appreciate Macon. If I'm pronouncing that wrong, I apologize. For your comment there. and getting this discussion started. Also, I was thinking about this kind of before as well. And on a few of the older videos that I was watching for Realm of the Mad God, I had a face cam on. And so if you guys don't mind commenting down below whether or not you want to see the face cam come back, I'm doing the face cam on stream right now, so it's all set up. It's just whether or not it's something. Oh, I definitely want to use that one. It's something that you guys want to see. I'm all for either one. You know, I'm kind of trying to tailor this to what you guys want. I'm definitely okay with doing the face cam like we used to. Just let me know in the comments down below. That'd be appreciated. All right, back to the engineering thing. So the first thing to realize is that all the laws and everything are different depending on what state you're in. And I'm talking about all the laws and stuff as it pertains to the United States as well. So your engineering wherever you live may be slightly different, you know, but I hope that you can still at least use some of this as some sort of guidance here. All right. So that's my big thing. All right. That's my warning at the beginning. And I just kind of want to talk a little bit about just, you know, engineering in general. Because I feel like a lot of people get into engineering for maybe the wrong reasons, right? I'm not saying that you are. I'm just saying that I think that that's I see that a lot. Usually it's because their parents are engineers, and so they want to be engineers. I don't really have, you know, leg to stand on there. My dad's a mechanical engineer. Actually, he went to the same university that I did. But that being said, I think it's a fantastic profession. I encourage people at least to think about going into STEM professions, because I think that they are a good way to make money, for one, but also because I think that you can have a lot of fun, you can have a lot of success, and you know, I think that it's just a valuable thing to have in our society just in general as well. So that's my rant on engineering and such. But I also, obviously, I'm biased, of course. Can we? No, we can't kill you quite yet. We have to wait for the shield to go down. I'm slowly learning. It's coming back to me. This guy here probably just wants me to kill her because he's probably out of potions. I tried. We got close. There we go. And we got a blue bag. Nice. I'll take that for sure. So the first thing I wanted to talk about is kind of what to expect when, like, on a day-to-day stuff. Or what is that? Also, do we drink these? We use them. Okay. 50 campaign points. Nice. I didn't know how to use those earlier. I may have missed out a little bit. So forgive me about that, but now I do know. What is this? Soulbound quest item obtained for by defeating Stheno. Okay. Speed power 50. All right. So I don't know what that is. Let me know about down below. It seems like you can turn it in for stuff. I want to drink this potion of speed for sure. All right. I mostly just want some health potions so I don't die immediately. So when a lot of people think about engineers, maybe they imagine, I don't know, the engineer from Team Fortress 2 or something. Maybe somebody walking around with a hard hat on and I don't know, just turning some gears or something with a big wrench. But a lot of engineering is actually very, very different. There are field engineers that do that kind of stuff. And my job is, I don't know, 10% field engineering. Most of the time, if you're an engineer, you're probably sitting behind a desk at a computer. It's very office jobby, right? And I think that surprises some people who go to engineering school. I think they think that the job is going to be very different than it is. And that's mostly why I wanted to point that out, right? The second thing I wanted to talk about is that there's different, I don't want to say levels, I guess classifications of engineer, right? And technically speaking, at least in the United States, you're not legally allowed to call yourself an engineer. I have a better one than that. Unless you're licensed in your state. So people have gotten, what is that thing? What was that? Is that something new? I've never seen that before. What is this? What is this thing? I'm kind of scared because I haven't seen it before. Right? Oh, was this? What was this? Oh, that was the one we dropped. Okay. I was thinking maybe it was another potion that I could use. We're going to do this really quick, and then we're going to go check out whatever that freaky deaky thing was. What was I talking about? We were talking about laws and that kind of stuff. So yeah, so technically speaking, not a lot of people know this, I don't think. You're not allowed to call yourself an engineer unless you are licensed with your state. So I know that he's shielded. There's really not much we can do right now. I'm waiting for him to become unshielded, really. Wonder if they were going to whatever that other event was. Probably. And there's different levels. So let's say you graduate with just an engineering degree, mechanical, civil, you know, pick your poison, right? Yes, please. Thank you. Then you are just, you know, you can work in an engineering job and do like engineering calculations and stuff, but you don't have any letters after your name, right? And my biggest advice for somebody who is going to be graduating with an engineering degree is right when you graduate, take the FE exam. Ooh, I'll take that. Take the FE exam. That stands for Fundamentals of Engineering. All right. That will get you on the course to be a registered engineer. Right. And we'll talk about why you want to be a registered engineer here in a little bit. Let's talk about how you do it first. Okay. So you take the FE exam, right? And for me, at least, it was an 8-hour exam. Pretty long exam, right? You want to study for, I'm going to say, maybe 3 months leading up to it. What we did is we had some civil engineers and some petroleum engineers and some mechanical engineers and just a whole bunch of different people all in our study group, because the test has a little bit of everything in it, right? So we had some, let's see, what's a good example? Like civil engineers doing structural stuff, right? Because they're really good at structurals. What else? T3 seal. Could probably drop that for somebody. I'm just probably just leave it there for now. And we had some chemical engineers doing piping and instrumentation stuff, right? And so that's the way we did. Obviously, you can kind of do whatever you want, right? That's what worked for us. So definitely study for like a few months before the exam, leading up to the exam. Now in Colorado, which is where I live, you then have to work in an engineering type position for 4 years before you can take the PE. And you're gonna want to log your work experience, that kind of stuff. It works best if you are working under another licensed professional engineer. They seem to have relaxed some of those restrictions though, to where that's not entirely necessary. It used to be that you had to. Any work done not underneath a registered PE would not count towards your work for getting registered for your PE exam. Now that's not necessarily the case. Okay. I did work under a PE. He had his PE, but he was a lawyer at my job, but he was able to sign off on it. So after you work for your amount of time, for me, okay, I need to back up here. If you have a bachelor's degree in Colorado, it's 4 years. If you have a master's degree, it's 3 years. And that's because they count the year for you to get your master's degree towards working towards your exam. If you get a PhD, I believe it's 2 years. I'd have to look into that. But the weird thing that not a lot of people realize or think about is that you can actually become a registered mechanical engineer without a degree. You just have to work for, it's something like 12 years in the field. Now, the caveat to that is you have to find someone who will hire you, right? Because how are you going to get hired in an engineering type position if you don't have a degree? That's very, very difficult. I know a few people who have done it, not personally, but just stories from my professors and stuff, who basically kind of started working as a building engineer. That's the fancy new lingo for like being a janitor, basically, at an engineering firm, and then slowly worked their way up. And then they worked there for like, I think it's 12 years. And then they were able to take their PE exam and become a registered engineer. I think that's very, very rare. I would not count on doing that, but it is something that happens, right? Yeah, we can do another snake pit. Why not? Also, I do remember the snake pits have treasure rooms. Okay. I'm just trying to rush a little bit here. This is my big thing. So, all right. So that's my first thing. The first thing you want to do when you graduate, since you'll be fresh with all the knowledge, right, is take that FE exam. Okay. Definitely look at DORA, not Dora the Explorer, although it's spelled the same way. It's the Division of Regulatory Agencies. All right. They're the ones who administer a lot of that stuff. Not necessarily the exam. The exam is done by NCEES. I don't remember exactly what that stands for. But either way, look up all this in Dora. It'll give you more information for your specific state and everything. Did we find? Oh no, this is a treasure room. All right, sweet. So I'm a bit scared, honestly. I don't remember much about the treasure rooms. Yeah, we have to stand on that. I do remember that. We can kill all of these little buddies here before. No, they're gonna keep popping up through the gates. Okay. Wish me luck. Here we go. Here he is, the treasure room man himself. All right, we're doing all right. I forgot that traps come through the walls like it's Indiana Jones, right? What does Dazed do? Anything like the movie Dazed and Confused? Give me a second. I'm definitely going to focus up here really quickly before I die and lose this treasure room. All right, he looks like he's in stage 2. I got stuck on a pillar. Okay, that was no, not our last heal potion. Okay, this is not looking good. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. This could be looking a little bit better for us here. Let's cut through here. I would very much like to find some heal potions. And I believe these guys drop them, right? Although these guys haven't dropped anything, so I could be mistaken. It might only be the big snakes that drop heal potions and stuff. All right. How are we doing on this guy? He's about half done. What do we got over here? Don't want to get popped. All right. Come on. These guys don't do much damage. There we go. I know. I was hitting space for my secondary. Space isn't my secondary. It's right click. I feel like an idiot now. I'm like, why are none of my things hitting? It's because I wasn't actually using them. That's a good reason why. Okay. We could just wait here for our little chick to heal us up. That is a strategy as well. Can we just use this too? That's gonna give us a little bit more health. What is this? Wisdom? I don't feel like we need wisdom necessarily right now as well. Okay. So, let's talk about engineering real quick while we wait for this. So yeah, take your FE as soon as you can when you graduate. Okay. That's my biggest advice. Don't wait. Just take it, pass it. Then after you pass it is when you can start to accrue time for your PE. Okay, PE stands for Principles of Engineer. A lot of people think of it as Professional Engineer. That works as well. There we go. We have 1 because we are awesome, and we got a speed potion. All right, life is good. So, yeah, so definitely do your FE after your time is done, right? You're going to want to study, I'm gonna say 6 months is what I studied for my PE. It is a big exam, okay? First off, if you fail one of these, you have to take the whole 8-hour exam again, okay? That, okay, that heals. Okay, that's right, I remember now. We probably didn't need that. We probably wasted it, but that's okay. We're learning, it's a process, right? And I think that's kind of the feedback I'm getting, is that you guys enjoy the process more than the actual gameplay, which is fair. That's understandable. So, once you get cleared for your PE, let's back up. Let's talk about that. You have to apply to get cleared to take the PE. You can't just go take the exam. You have to send in a whole big bundle of information. Okay. Saying this is what you worked on for the past X amount of years. This is with who. You're going to need letters of recommendation, right? In order to get cleared to take your PE test. But then once you're cleared, then you can take it anytime in the next, I think it's 2 years or something like that. Again, look at Dora's website, get more accurate information than what I'm telling you, especially for your state. Might be slightly different. And then take the PE test, ace it first time because you're awesome and I believe in you and you can definitely do it. Look at the rate that people pass and fail for your exam. I want to say that for the year that I took my mechanical engineering exam, it was something like 65-70%. So it's not too bad. You just have to get, I believe it's like 7. Oh, is there a second treasure room? Ooh, lucky me. Although I no longer have health potions, but I do now remember how to use my other ability. That might help, a lot. All right, let's do it. All right, man. Go ahead. Pump him full of secondary abilities here. I'm gonna back off. Gonna regen a bit. And then we're gonna hit him with the good stuff. There we go. That's right. All right, we're bleeding. That means it's time to back off a little bit and heal up again. Yeah, and once you pass your PE, then you will. It's a pass-fail system as well. At least it was for Colorado. So if you pass it, then you pass it. If you fail it, you fail it, and you don't get to see like what you passed or like what you need to work on necessarily as much, right? Like they're not going to say, hey, you did really well in thermodynamics, but you didn't do good in fluid mechanics, so you need to brush up on that. All right, you're going to have to basically restudy for another 6 months until you can take the exam. When I took it, exams were twice a year, so if you failed it, then you had 6 months to study before the next one. They're looking at doing electronically so that you can take it a month after if you want, which will be really nice because you just studied for like 6 months, right? So if you finish your exam, you get registered as a PE. What does that get you? Well, first off, it depends on what kind of engineer you are, right? There's mechanical engineers, civil engineers, electrical, aerospace engineers. There's all sorts of different engineers, right? I'm a mechanical engineer. I got my PE, not necessarily because I needed it, which we'll talk about here in a second, but mostly because my bosses wanted me to, right? And it was a goal that I wanted for just a personal goal for myself, really, So what is licensure and why is it a good thing to have? Do you need it? Most engineers don't need it, if we're being completely honest. If you're a civil engineer, you're gonna need it. Just plan on getting it because anything civil is gonna need stamped and you're going to want to be able to stamp your own drawings, right? So what is stamping? Also known as sealing, right? Basically, it is a way to affirm to the government that you did the calculations for whatever you're building and that you stand by it. And the reason why that is especially important for civil engineers, right? It's a safety thing. It's the same reason why doctors have to get licensed and you have to pass the bar exam and get licensed if you want to be a lawyer, right? It's a safety thing, okay? And here's the reason why. If you are building, let's say, a bridge, I think bridges are usually a good example, right? If you are building a bridge and there's a bunch of cars passing it on top of it, right? And it collapses and kills everybody, then you're gonna be the one to take the heat for that, right? And they want to make sure that if this bridge is getting built, that all of the calculations were done by someone who knows what they're doing. And how do you prove that you know what you're doing? You take a big 8-hour test, right? 16 hours if you want to include also the 8-hour test you took for the FE, right? And that's how you're proving that you can do all these calculations and everything. So that is why the license exists, right? It's a safety thing. Now, for me as a mechanical engineer who does HVAC design, I have never stamped or sealed any document in my life. And I wouldn't do it unless I absolutely had to. And the reason why is when you get your PE, okay, like I said, you are now legally liable for everything that you design, okay? And the reason why I don't want to stamp and seal stuff unless I absolutely have to is because it just limits that liability, right? Nowhere that I work, none of the building departments I work with require that engineering documents that are HVAC are stamped or sealed. So it's one of those, like, why would you risk being sued or risk losing your license, right? Just like doctors and stuff can lose their license, you can also lose yours as a mechanical engineer, right? Can you get it back? I think you can. I think you can retest and get it back as long as you take some courses and stuff. I'm not exactly sure on that one. But it's just a liability thing too. And a lot of times, if you are a professional engineer and you get hired as that for a company, they will help take some of that liability. She's probably that direction. I just wanted to see, is there any way that there would be a third treasure room, or is that just crazy? You know, I don't, do you ever get more than 2? I don't know. I also would like to find some health potions if I could. Like, that's the other thing I'm kind of looking for right now, because not super convinced of my ability to beat Theno, but at the same time, you know, we're going to give it the good old college try. So when you get licensed, you know, you are taking on a legal liability, or legal, what's the word? Liability is a good word, for whatever it is that you designed and developed, right? And it's to protect the people using your products, right? It's not so much an issue with HVAC as it would be if you're building bridges or buildings or that kind of stuff, which is usually why if you are a structural engineer, then they require that you have, I fat fingered that because that happens a lot to me. They require that you have your PE. Is there anything above a PE? Yes, there is. There's also an SE that stands for structural engineer. If you get your PE, you can also take a test to get your SE. I'm not going to, because I don't do structural engineering, so there's really no point to me to. It's just an extra test. And I have noticed that not everyone who does our structural drawings and stuff has their SE. I don't know how much of a requirement it is. I work in residential. I would assume it's more of a requirement for commercial, right? Or industrial applications. So that's a really long-winded way to say, if you're looking to become an engineer, I think that's absolutely fantastic. I would suggest that you look at getting registered as well. It's a lot of work. It's kind of expensive. The tests themselves were like $200 or $300 to take it. If you fail and you have to retake the whole exam, you have to pay for that $200 or $300 expense again. I'm mostly just looking for health potions right now, guys. So, what do you get out of it? Well, one, only something. Last time I looked, it was like 8 to 10% of people who get an engineering degree will go on and get registered as a registered engineer. So, if you are looking for a job, being a registered engineer is a great way to put yourself above some of the other applicants, right? It really says that you know what you're talking about, and it also says that, hey, if you need something stamped or sealed, then you can do it in-house, okay? No, you're not allowed to stamp or seal work that other people have done without you looking over it. That's called plan stamping, and it's illegal, right? Otherwise, I would be making bank by just saying, send me your drawings and I will stamp them. The problem is that A, you're assuming the liability for if it goes wrong, right? And B, it's just unethical and immoral, right? You didn't do the calculations on it, you shouldn't be stamping it, okay? The reason why my bosses wanted it, even though they knew I wouldn't be stamping anything, is clout, basically. I work a lot with building departments. Building departments can have people in it that are, I don't know how to say this nicely. There's a lot of really great people who work in building departments, first off. What is that? Oh, it disappeared, whatever it was. But a lot of them can be a little full of themselves and kind of, I don't want to use the word Nazi. I'm going to use it though. You know, uppity about their stuff. And if they see that you are licensed, then generally speaking, they will assume that you know what you're doing. And that has helped me out in my position as well. The other thing too, you can usually demand a higher salary if you are licensed, because A, you're assuming more responsibility, B, you are more useful for your company, and C, that if you go in as a licensed engineer, they assume that you know what you're doing over the person who isn't licensed, right? And it's just like a stamp of quality, right? Does that mean that I am absolutely the best engineer there is around? Absolutely not, right? Because when you are getting licensed, right, then that says that you know what you're doing in a very narrow band of engineering, okay? I'm licensed to do HVAC. I'm not building bridges, right? You're not supposed to stamp stuff that you didn't do the calculations on, and it's not within your knowledge set, okay? Do I know a lot about how to do calculations for bridges and structural stuff? Yes, I do, because I'm a mechanical engineer and that's what you learned in school, right? Would I be able to do those calculations right now because I haven't done it for years? Probably not, if I'm being honest with you guys. It's one of those things, like, if you haven't done it for a while, then you're not gonna easily remember it, you know? And that's my biggest issue. That's also why they don't want you stamping stuff that you don't know about, right? I just realized I've been talking for 30 minutes. I'm super passionate about this. I might do a follow-up video on this because I think it's super important. I also think it's super fantastic that I have someone who is looking at doing engineering in my chat. I mean, that to me, like, man, it's such a great profession, you know? And I am biased. I've said that already, right? For sure, I'm biased about this, but I'm super excited for you. I think you're gonna enjoy it, you know? It's a lot of fun, especially if you do design work, right? There's a lot of different types of engineers. There's a lot of different engineering stuff that you can do. For me, I would say, I don't know, 30% of the time is me doing design stuff. A good 60% is bureaucratic stuff, which isn't as fun, right? Paperwork. Every job has just menial paperwork that you have to do, right? And then about 10% of the times me doing stuff out in the field. So, which can be fun. It can also be kind of annoying. It depends on what you're doing, right? Yeah, so we're gonna very quickly try and beat this, and then I'm gonna call an episode because I just realized I've been talking for 30 minutes. So we'll probably do a follow-up on this. Do you guys, if you have any questions about engineering, you know, leave them down below. I'd love to help you guys out for that. If it's something that you're looking at going into, or if you want to know more about a specific type of engineer, like what does civil engineering do? You know, civil engineers are ones who do structural buildings. You know, they can also, there's civil engineers that only deal in concrete. Right? That's a huge, there's a lot that comes with concrete, right? Like there's a lot of different types of concrete and stuff. Anyways, that's, you know, I do mechanical engineer. Mechanical engineer is kind of the jack of all trades of engineers. Like you learn how to do a little bit of everything. But it means that you're not specially focused like you would for an electrical engineer or something, right? That only does electrical. Did I learn electrical stuff? Yes. Am I as good at electrical as someone who's an electrical engineer, like my brother-in-law? Absolutely not, right? So let's see. Almost looks like we need to go this way. There. Okay. I have no clue how to beat this boss. So yeah, I probably shouldn't be popping all of it. All right. Well, wish me luck, guys. No, I think STEM is a great field to get into, right? I'm not knocking on non-STEM fields, you know. I have plenty of friends and stuff who don't care for math or any type of sciences, and they do all right for themselves and they're happy, right? I just, you know, I love STEM stuff. I think it's super interesting. I think it's a great line of work to get into. What do you get? Anything good? Okay. Don't care about that necessarily. We'll take that. And away we go. All right, I'm gonna leave it there. I hope you guys found that at least somewhat informative or useful, even if you weren't looking at going into engineering. I'm definitely gonna broach this topic further because I could talk for another, I don't know, 20 hours on this. So if you have anything specific you want to know, or maybe kind of what I do on my day-to-day for my engineering position and what kind of calculations I do, that kind of stuff, maybe I'll do that next episode. We'll see. You know, leave a comment down below. Also, let me know if you want to see me do a face cam, as I said in the beginning. And that's all I have for you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. I do appreciate it. I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your day, and I will see you in the next episode. Ooh. All right, you know what? We're gonna just relax. Just gonna all go to our happy place. We got like 3 kills that round. I know we only have 4 total, so we got like 3 of them that round.